crap like this.
Smartmatic is a company, you're going to be astonished when I tell you how it was formed. It was formed really by 3 Venezuelans who were very close to the dictator Chavez of Venezuela. And it was formed in order to fix elections.
And by the way, the states, as you well know now, they have no ability to audit meaningfully the votes that are cast, because the servers are somewhere else.
And with the assistance of Smartmatic software, a backdoor is capable of flipping votes.
You just said it all. This is a Smartmatic, a Delaware entity registered in Boca Raton, Florida. Activities in Caracas, Venezuela.
False. Completely false. And dangerously so when you talk about how people understand what's happening in our elections. There was no backdoor, and states actually have extensive abilities to audit this. Indeed, every time you see us cover recounts and other legal processes for state votes, we're covering all the ways that you can review and even re-review those votes. Indeed, if you've spent time with us, I've covered cases where there's a recount, Republican wins, and we go through those materials. Sometimes a Democrat wins, sometimes it's super close. All of that is because the states do indeed have this authority and this ability. So I showed you Lou Dobbs, among others there. Then 5 days after Smartmatic demanded these retractions from what they call these lies from Fox and threatened to pursue defamation and disparagement claims, well, the tune might have changed a little bit. Here was Dobbs fact-checking Dobbs.
We reached out to one of the leading authorities on open source software for elections, Eddie Perez, for his insight and views.
Have you seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to flip votes anywhere in the U.S. in this election?
I have not seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to delete, change, alter anything related to vote tabulation.
How about that? Now, let me say, in all seriousness, with a smile, that is what journalism looks like. And it's a very different thing if you say, Giuliani claims X, we looked into it, here's what the experts say Y, and let people then with the information make up their own mind. So under duress, Lou Dobbs did there commit some type of journalism. The problem is, according to these voting machine companies, they didn't want to do that. They spent months defaming them, allegedly, and only under threat of these lawsuits did they ever go on and add the other side or the expert side or the fact check. So tonight's news is a shot in the arm for that case that I'm telling you about. At a time when the damage of these lies have many people discussing and debating and calling for more legal and more painful sanctions for the entities in our society that do this kind of stuff. I'm sure these are debates you've had around the kitchen table, at the bar, at the restaurant with people. Can you really get away with this? Are we facing something that is a real problem that needs to be updated, needs to be tackled? Now, you also have that record-breaking win against Alex Jones and then a separate Fox case, a separate multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, over $1 billion, from another different voting machine company. And that's the one we told you about earlier, where Murdoch, who runs the entire Fox Corporation, parent company, he went under oath just last month. And there's allegations that he, the head honcho, knew about the lies and encouraged the people on air to push them, that he called the shots directly. And they have now forced, in that case, Murdoch, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Maria Bartiromo to testify in these depositions. So then they're forced to tell the truth, and then you get new information. Consider that under oath, some of them just admit it. Sean Hannity saying he did not believe for 1 second Trump's fraud claims. Now, I just mentioned to you how journalism works and hearing all sides. There is another side to this story. This case has not yet been adjudicated, although Fox is losing the first rounds in procedure. But the Fox lawyers counter that what they are doing, what the company did, was part of journalism, that they were reporting on election fraud claims, and that even if those claims were false at the time or later proven false, that was part of their reporting. So I want you to understand that's their defense, and they may mount it in court. But here's the thing. There are limits to that defense. We certainly don't want to live in the world, and the First Amendment doesn't live in a world where those kind of arguments mean that you can do anything you want and say anything you want without recourse. So there's a judge talking about the robust and unintimidated press here. And there's a separate case dealing with Newsmax, where the judge found the First Amendment protects reporters, and the First Amendment is still not unlimited, those reporters being, in this case, at Fox News, and that the neutral idea of reporting doesn't mean a publisher can deliberately distort statements, launching personal attacks on its own or on a public figure, and that Smartmatic's allegations, which they call well-pled, meaning substantiated, support the idea that Newsmax's reporting in that case was not accurate and not disinterested and not unbiased. Now, if that sounds like a lot of legalese, let's be clear. The First Amendment protects all kinds of statements. It certainly protects the vast majority of what goes on at Fox News, whether people like it or not. But what the judge is saying there that could be bad news in this important case for Fox is that, yes, you have a wide, wide berth, but the First Amendment is not a license to defame or lie recklessly or forever. Now, I can tell you it's a very high bar. Usually when we cover these cases, the first thing we tell you is it's hard to win a defamation case against major media outlets. And this is a multi-billion-dollar decision for Fox unless they settle. And right now tonight, they're getting some very bad news from a lot of judges looking at exactly what they've been up to.